Hey mate.
And we're live.
Yeah, so it's not good morning, almost noon for me, and it's as usual. It's always like okay, it's evening for you, so nice and
Yeah,
quiet. Yeah,
nice and quiet, indeed.
yeah, nice. Have you been? You've been spent some like a week in New York. Now back to where you guys staying. It's probably very
Uh,
big difference, I guess. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. And like I try to make sure that I'm in the office quite regularly. I would personally probably move there, but there are other
Yeah.
things to take into account that prevent me from moving to New
Hmm.
York
Yeah.
currently.
Okay. What's your stance actually on all this? Office working from home. It's if you kind of put aside all the politics of it, just kind
Right,
of from just purely, like just kind of as an engineer, right? It's kind of
right.
because yeah, I have a few opinions, and my opinion kind of changes as I learn more and experience it more on myself and the team. But yeah, keen to hear your views on it.
Um, I haven't really fully made up my mind yet because, from one perspective, um, I see the value of being in office.
Hmm.
There's you can't really compare it to anything. Like when you are all in the office, one office, you grab someone, you sit down with them,
Yeah.
um, and you can resolve things and very quickly.
Hmm.
However, when you are a part of big corporations, um, very rarely you work all of the team members work in the same office. So usually if you need to have a meeting, if you need to communicate or cooperate with team members, that's going to be online. That's going to be in an online meeting somewhere if you're doing that in a big corporation.
Hmm.
um, even inside the US. So, for example, there are several offices inside the US. One in Boston, one in Florida, one in the West Coast, one in the East Coast. Um, and you have several team members. So now you need to cooperate. You need to call them. So even let's say you are five people, and even one out of those five people is not in the office, right? Is sitting somewhere at the West Coast, you need to have that meeting now online. You need to
Hmm.
cooperate with them online. So if you're cooperating with them online, what's the point? If the end of the day you're meeting online and one person sits in Jersey, one person sits in New York, one person um sits at the West Coast, and you're all working together, but you're all in the office. So what's the point? That could have been done from home. So
Yeah.
the reasoning behind being in office, which is better for communication, better for cooperation, it's gone. The second reason is that they claim that people don't work when they're at home. I'm not gonna relate it. I'm not gonna talk about that because I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Um, and also that could be measured. If
Hmm.
someone is slacking at home and they're not delivering, they're gonna lose their jobs. Um, so the only thing is the corporation. So if this is a like big corporation with multiple offices in multiple locations, it kind of loses the point. But I do see, like, as someone who works a lot from home, I sometimes miss the office. I miss going into the office. I miss being in the office, being with people, since I'm a social person.
Hmm.
But this is big cooperation. You come from a perspective of smaller groups, like 200, 300 people. It's different, right? From that perspective.
It's amazing that 200, it's small for you. For me, it's, it's huge. But yeah, um, it makes sense. Okay, so
You,
when in your
like
yeah
from your
yeah go ahead.
perspective,
Hmm.
you should, like, you would prefer in office, remotely.
Yeah, so a few things to it. It's when I moved here, kind of I joined like it actually was like for a few weeks, like a small crypto startup that was exactly what you described. People working in Australia, US, all over US and other places. And the idea was you can work from anywhere. And then I was supposed to work with another guy here in Sydney, and then we just took a we walk, like open space, like a desk. Uh, and I said, okay, I want to go at least twice, 3 times a week because I don't want to sit by myself and work from home. I'm in a new country, right? It's kind of I actually want to meet people. It was really, really important for me. Um, he decided like he want to actually work from home more for his personal reasons, which is fine. But I left that company and that was like pretty much like the last reason. But with time, I think, and I worked from home before, like in Israel, like my last company. I did like I just worked for like for some company for a few days a week, and it was all remote, and it was fine because again, I had social, right? I'm also a social person, and I met my friends. Kind of went for lunch break. I was waking up in the morning. I was driving with Evie to walk, and then I used to take my dog for like 1 hour walk. Like going to the gym. So I'm gonna start walking like around 10 because my job was pretty much just me, right? Kind of coding. I wasn't walking with lots of other people in a group. It was a very small startup. So and then again back to office 5 days a week, and then when we drive, COVID hit after 2 months that we started the company, right? So it was myself and the two co-founders, and we don't know each other. But by then, it was again, it's all coming from like very personal, right? I had a kid, so both in myself and my wife were working from home. We have a kid in daycare. We were lucky that daycares were still open, and we got the best out of this, right? We got to okay, in the morning, you have a coffee, you go for like a 1 hour walk, you exercise, you come back, you start you walk, and we kind of felt like all this commute time, right? It's we could utilize that for much much better things, right? But then all this socializing, everyone just did that online, right? So like we
Which
used
is
to
not the
jump on a Zoom
same.
with our friends, yeah, but it's not the same. So I think COVID showed us that if kind of if you trust people you work with, right, because you kind of touch that. If somebody's not working, the ways to measure, to me, like if you're concerned about someone that's not working, you're losing trust.
Right,
You probably shouldn't work with that person regardless if it's an office or not office. Doesn't matter
right,
really.
right.
um but yeah, it's obviously easier to hide right at home. um so it felt like I had to build that whole culture at Driver around that people work remote. And then we just kind of kept going. But we used to go to the office once a week, twice, once. Eventually, it was once for many many years, and it worked for us amazingly.
Mhm.
Like because what we start doing is just like for me again. Okay, what's important to do in person? One-on-ones, kind of workshops if possible. Backlog refinement meetings, but some people again from Philippines, so they join, and so you have what you described that most people are physically in office and someone else is in other country, right?
Right.
And as you said, like it's kind of so what's the point? I just all work remotely. But still, I think some of those activities, like going for lunch together, right?
Right, 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 right.
It's they connects you on a personal level, right? And it also makes you just better uh, team players, I guess, right? It's kind of people you're working with, and as a result, you you know as a result, the outcome is just better on every aspect uh, professionally. Um, so how are we gonna go from there? Like, and now I'm just speaking about companies about my new role and joining like another company and some remote, right? Because of some engineers are in India, some engineers are in New Zealand, all all over the world. And then for me, like, okay, so I'm not gonna, I'm barely gonna meet those people in person, right? Some of them, the whole culture is remote first. And then I speaking with other companies, we're like, no, we want to do 2 days in the office. And then I ask, like, okay, what do you do with those 2 days, right? And that's the most important thing to me. Oh, we
Right.
just, so we do exactly the same thing we do at home. We just do it in the office. To me, that's a bit ridiculous, right? It's kind of, so you guys decided to go to the office just for the sake of it, right? Because it's like, is it coming from like the leadership low self-esteem, I guess, it's kind of, it's like you need to see your people walking to know they're actually walking. Um, I don't think that's right. Some people talk about that fairness, some professions you have to go to the office, and so if everyone have to go to the office, then it's kind of same for everyone. That's very cute. That suddenly, we talk about fairness in
Right. Right.
in
Right.
specifically in this aspect. Yeah, come on, yeah. It's like if you want to talk about fairness, so there's like you know so many more other things we should touch first before we talk about that everyone need to sit in the office.
Right. Right.
It's yeah, like just kind of fairness in the community in general. Salaries and like access to education. Yeah, let's fix that first. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's kind of funny to me when companies, oh, we support green, blah 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 blah, but then everyone need to commute to the office 5 days a week.
And the commute is 5 hours
Yeah,
in
exactly, right. It's kind of
traffic.
like, come on,
And
let's
we
stop
we
with the.
we're a green company.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of we are zero, kind of whatever.
Emission.
Yeah, zero emission. If you have 200 people coming to your office every day, back and forth,
You're
you
not
know,
zero emission.
so it's kind of okay. So you say we as a company zero emission, but everyone that works for us, they're not. Cool. So I think if you want to have an honest conversation about working from home, working from the office, let's move aside politics. Let's move aside everything, right? It has nothing to do with right, left. Just it's about people, right? It's about the type of work you're doing, right? To me, it's like engineers, right? A lot of the time, most of our time is you coding for engineers, right? Let's say you and I are in leadership. It's not that. So it's like I will take one step back forward. Remember, when you and I started working, I think open spaces in offices just started. Remember,
Yes.
before that was kind of more cubicles and offices, and everyone open space is the best. And then suddenly you see the rise of noise cancellation headphones. Okay,
Especially in an office where I'm in, I can tell you that for sure. You
any
need no
office,
calculations
any
where I'm
office,
in
any
the open space.
made any open space, right? You need
Right. Right.
that because how the fuck can you concentrate with just so much noise around you, right?
True.
Like we have a ping pong table, which is awesome, and I play too sometimes, right? Go try to solve, SQL you have behind you. Like, come on, it's yeah. So it's so okay. So you want to see everyone, you want to kind of feel, look how many people I have working for me, right? It's kind of they all sit there and they very focused and working, and you have no idea what they're doing, right? So you
I
kind of just want
mean,
to go and pick. From you gonna go and peek behind, kind of shoulder of your engineer. What are you working on? It's kind of, yeah, that's not distracting at all. That's great. That's gonna help them to focus.
that is a terrible entrepreneur. Like
Of course,
any entrepreneur should be oriented, 100% result oriented. Like if you're not result oriented and you're focused on how many people you have in the office, that is it. That
yeah.
is. I hope that's not the
How many commits you have done today? Yeah, because
right.
that's gonna show how many lines of code you wrote. It's so it's kind of so I'm gonna connect the dots, right? So it's gonna so this conversation back to the office argument, right? It started to me like it's not even there, right? Hey, what's better, open space or cubicles, right? Depends who you ask, right? But people that
Right.
made those decisions, a lot of the time, they're not coming from engineering, right? And usually don't ask them. Hey, that's and there's always that people that decide that's the best way to go, right? Because they don't want to spend money on offices, and also because you can so easily switch between tenants, right? If you own the building, right? If you kind of rent that floor to a company, if they leave, right? Kind of all the desk, everything stays, and open space. There's another company will come in all day bring just their own laptops and people, and that's it, right? Easy peasy.
Right. Right.
Awesome. That's a good justification why you want to have open space, right? Then just say that. That's not a problem. That's a good reason, right? Then everyone understand why. Don't bullshit me with all this. Oh, it's great for communication. It's not. It's clearly not. Like people will collaborate together. People want to collaborate. You know what they do? They go and try to book a room, a closed room, so
Right.
they can have a conversation. It's kind of quietly. Uh, yeah. So to the office, back to the office or working from home again. Let's put aside politics. Let's put aside all this conversation about what's fair and not fair. I just, again, like it can be one of the points, but it cannot be main point. Let's try to understand what are you trying to achieve from your team when they're all together in a room, right? It's kind of what are the benefits you can get when people working from home. If kind of your people work from home, they get to spend more time with their family, right? Because they don't spend that time on commute. They can get to spend more time with their kids. A bit older generation, and also the younger, right? It's they get to exercise more. They get to go outside more. I think there's people way smarter and more involved than me. Continue to talk about how the younger generation, right? They kind of sit at home all day. They need to go back to the office. Uh, it's kind of that it hurts them. It's that they're not socializing. Uh, I don't know. I have no idea. It's kind of I see the young generation that kind of that I work with, and they work from home. They outside all the time. They use that time. They
Mhm.
go, they exercise, they meet with friends after work, and kind of we finish coding, at 5, 6. They instead of commuting, back where they live, like an hour in a train, and sit with their phone, they're going outside. They use that time. You know,
Right.
I think we should let people have the choice what to do with their time, not decide for them. Um, that's one. But also, again, like just you as a business, decide for yourself how you kind of measure the success, of your team, right? Of the outcome of their work. And if you can achieve that in a balance that they can also, work from home, work from the office, great. If you think that's the only way for you to achieve, successful business, right? And if your business is successful, also your employees will be happy, hopefully. Um, then if the only way to do that is being together in the office, then yeah, be open about it. And hey, just tell them the only way for us to be successful together is us working together from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And if it's not, if it doesn't work for you, I understand that, but you probably should find something else. But that's how we should go about it.
Mhm.
So just say that. Nothing wrong with that. It's fine. It's totally fine, and let people the option to choose. Right? But what we see now, I think, is a lot of hybrid. 4 days from the office, one day at home. That's not hybrid.
Right.
You know? It's hybrid, probably like 2 days in the office or 3 days in the office, and then the rest at home. And again, the most important part is what do you do when you're in the office? Because what happens is not everyone at the office at the same day, right? People kind of split that. Okay,
Yeah.
my wife is doing hybrid. I do hybrid, so we juggle the kids, we juggle kind of the music lessons and everything. So I can come into the office Wednesday and Friday. And then the rest of my team, or, half of my team, I can come into the office Monday and Tuesday. So I don't see them anyway, right?
That's a very
So
smart approach.
what's the point, right? So it's kind of, let's just figure out what we want to achieve from those days. Let's make it very stable, okay? Try. I know you cannot make everyone happy. Okay, in 3 months, we need to be sure that arrange your life, that everyone in the office on Thursdays and Mondays, right? And from Monday, we're going to do our one-on-ones, right? As a leader, I don't expect much output on the code level from that day, right? But I do expect to see progress around planning, sprint planning, all of those things. That's actually nice to do in person, right? If possible.
Right. Right.
And nobody said you cannot do them online. Obviously, you can. Uh, if there's like a meeting with your team lead and solution architect, and kind of you want to work on ideas, grab a room with a whiteboard. It's kind of nice.
Right.
So I expect to see progress in other things, right? It's kind of and then when you work from home, I expect to see progress on tasks that are more like single contributor task, right? Kind of where you just sit and focus. So myself as a leader, right? I have a lot of things that it's not all day you just talk to people, right? It's a big part of it, but you go into things that you need to do by yourself. And so kind of when I go to the office, usually my day is pretty much a lot of it like meetings one-on-one, stuff that I want to do in person.
Mhm.
So like everything, right? Just enough with the bullshit. Be transparent. Share exactly what you expect to achieve from the days in office, and people will align with you. Some people will leave, and that's fair, right? They will find some people want to go to the office 5 days a week. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Right. Let
But the
them pick.
culture, yeah, that's a big, and the culture need to support that, right? It's kind of, hey, Vico, we really want to join our company. We do 4 days a week, but we will allow you to go twice a week. No, I don't want that, because the whole culture, right, is make a decision over coffee, right, kind of in a kitchen.
Right. Right.
I'm not going
Right.
to be part of that conversation because I'm from home, right? It's kind of so, yeah. It's decide what kind of culture you want. If it's remote, hybrid, or office, share it with your team. But as always we say, just better to make a decision and have a mistake and then fix it than not have it, not make a decision at all. So a lot of the time, to me, they just the decision makers in this, they're afraid to make a decision because they're trying to make everyone happy, right? It's
Mhm.
kind of so, yeah, and it
Wouldn't
actually makes
be
more damage. Mhm.
wouldn't be the easiest way to make everyone happy. Just let them, like you said, let them pick. Everyone, whatever they see fit, right? You want to come into the office, come into the office. You want to work from home, work from home. As long as you deliver, we're fine. If you don't deliver, we'll fire you. So
I don't
wouldn't
think
be
so.
that the way to make everyone happy?
I No, I actually think you need to create that structure for everyone,
Mhm.
and you need to make sure that it's actually working for everyone, right? Or for the majority. And if it's not working, sometimes a small adjustment, right, can
Why?
fix issues.
So I understand why you need structure in a lot of things,
Hmm.
right? But why do you need structure with that? Why do you need rules and regulations
Hmm.
in that specific aspect?
Like me working from home,
Yeah.
or
Why? Like you said, if you come into the office,
yeah,
you have to have an
I
outcome, a
yeah.
perceive of an outcome, what exactly you're going to derive from coming into the office. Not, oh, you come in, everyone needs to come in twice a day. So if someone coming someone is coming Sunday and Saturday, someone is coming Monday and Tuesday. So you don't get to have everyone in the office. So the whole purpose of the outcome kind of lose its points.
Yeah.
So if this is a clear rules and regulation, we want to see everyone. We want to see everyone in the office 2 days hybrid. So you have to have those 2 days. Can you accommodate everyone? You have, like you said, you do have that culture. And if you want to make everyone happy, like if you really want to make everyone happy and everyone delivers, right? There's no question about the outcome. The outcome has to be delivered, like you said. If you're not going to win without coming into the office, you have to come into the office. But if you do perform as well as you are in the office, what's the point? Make everyone happy by telling them, come in whatever you like. If you want to come into the office, come into the office 1 day a week, 2 hours, it's fine. As long as you deliver, we don't care.
Because I think in our profession, it's engineering, building products, it's the team sport. And I think it's not only about you contributing, just by yourself. Like it's kind of working together with the team, cooperating. It's what actually makes things happen. And I think if you just let everyone pick whatever they want, you will get small tribes, small groups, kind of the group of people that are going to go only to the office and they're going to communicate in only that way. And if people are working only from home, so you're going to have, instead of getting everyone together under the same goal, right? And you kind of give structure, right? Just kind of that structure that you kind of mentioned rules regulation. I think in this case, you're creating a structure that can support that right? That kind of people working together, whatever that is. Again, it's, if I'm going to open a woodworking shop, guess what? You all need to come into the office, to the shop, because it's just impossible, right?
Right.
But having said that, let's say part of that woodworking shop, I have someone that is doing our social media, right? Does that person needs to be in the office all day, every day, in the shop? Probably for that person's job, it's impossible, right? Because the noise and blah, blah, but he needs to come in, right? And they need to take photos and take videos of people walking. So when that person comes into the shop, then I would assume, hey guys, our social media content person is here, right? We need to accommodate, need to make sure everyone here today that no one is on any installation, right? It's kind of so you give the opportunity to take photos and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, can we try? So I think the best, we can do, let's schedule to do it every Friday and every Wednesday, because those are best days for that, right? That kind of everyone in. So it's not about rules, right? You're creating some kind of a structure that everyone can organize their personal work, right? How they personally contribute and work with the team around that structure. So, yeah, again, make everyone happy is the goal. I don't think it's possible. Well,
So
have our own unique problems. Like it's
I give you, let's say you are the founder. You're the
okay.
main and only founder. You are now recruiting people. I give you the full decision, capability on what to do. What would you do? Like you started a startup, and you startup now, I don't know, something, woodworking AI,
Yeah.
and you're the founder. You're the one who's making the rules. You're hiring people. What do you tell them?
I tell them right now, as a new startup, our goals are we need to grow. The only focus is, let's say, we need to grow doing this, and those are numbers we need to achieve. In order for us to achieve those numbers, 90% of our time is us working individually towards those goals. I don't care where you do that from. You want to do it from your own house, no problem. Let's see if we can daily kind of check in, in the morning and afternoon. Just make sure we synced. Besides, kind of code reviews and others. Let's meet, kind of once a week in person, just to kind of go over a few things. if it makes sense. Um, what can happen is that with time, business can change, right? We all
Right.
know
Like
that.
you said, the people
And
who you said that before, the people who were fit for the company at the startup
first
stage.
stage, yeah, not necessarily will fit for for kind of more maturing, because things change, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of we should try stop and just say everyone back to office. No, everyone remote. No, this. Every business is different. Every it's
Right.
kind of group founders are different. A group of people are different. It's kind of different. Those are different industries. It's try to find one solution that fits all. It doesn't make sense. We're almost like it's like, is there anything in life that one solution works for everyone?
Nothing. No such thing.
So
No
why
such
this?
no such thing as one size fits all. Never
Right?
was, never will be.
And also like and especially for our profession, for engineering, right? Engineering design, like those are creative jobs. Really? 9 to 5? That's again, I understand, we want to work together. Yes, but we copied that from the industrial kind of revolution for everyone just working in factory. So we said, you know,
Service industry, McDonald's.
yeah, exactly, like 9 to 5. So there's like obviously a bigger picture, around the economy, everyone commuting at the same time, just kind of moving the hold at the same time. I understand that. I'm not trying to change the way our Western society operates, and kind of live with it. I live within it, and it's not about that. Um, but come on, like this after COVID period, right? After that time, we actually learned something, right? It's kind
Right,
of
right,
and we shouldn't stop learning, right? It's kind of it's always like we learn something, we can walk in a different way, and for
right.
some people, it actually works great, right? It's kind of if you're a small startup, so the whole focus should go towards building your business, right? Just kind of, especially in a startup, right? The whole you don't know if your idea is executable. You have no idea what's actually going to happen. Like, do you really want to deal with how much milk you have left in the fridge in the office? Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Right,
Focus on
right,
building your business, right?
right,
It's
right.
kind of like all of those, it's kind of when everyone in the office you want to start great activities, and it's kind of you need a dishwasher. Like, someone is taking care of those things, and it's also cost money,
Right.
right? If in the cost of the office I can bring in another engineer, guess what?
Definitely at the start.
Right? So it's kind of
You
so
want
the
another
impact.
engineer.
So impact of that. So so if you and I opening a startup, and you and I are going to go to the office there every day together, and we're just going to sit with the noise cancellation headphones and just code all day, or we can just save that money and hire a designer for for kind of part time. What will benefit our business more?
Right. Agree.
So in a few years, our team is growing. We kind of see there's not enough, kind of social cohesion between the team. We need to bring them all together. Okay, start investigate. So yeah, there's no one solution that fits everything, and pretty much in any other aspect in life. So yeah, and I see those arguments on LinkedIn. It's like, Jesus, seriously? And it's like, and everyone just chat GPT in their arguments in the comments. Uh it's just yeah, it's kind of get the popcorn. You're just reading that, and yeah, I don't know. It's I've been working one day in office from office in the last 2 years. Before that, we did twice a week. Um, I feel like my team is very happy, right, with that structure. Some
Without
team
needing to
members,
commute.
yeah, exactly right. Some team members some team members are like, I like to go in more. You can go in more, right? But they kind of but the whole culture is but kind of like 90% of the team they don't want to come in more than one day a week, right? So it's kind of yes. So not everyone happy, right? But the other team members, you're free to come in, and sometimes they do, right? I'm not going to force the majority, right, to come into the office to commute
Right.
because there's a minority in the team, just kind of enjoy that more. No, sorry. If you want to sell that to them, right? Sell that to me. It's kind of I want to see my team members more. Not good enough reason, right? To convince 80% of the team even more, to kind of spend 2 hours on the commute, like, in a day.
So let's say we solve the commute, which is probably the hardest, most problematic thing. Like,
Yeah.
I love coming into the office. The commute
Mhm.
just it kills me. Really,
Sure,
the
the
commute,
commute is not the only one, yeah, but it's one of the biggest one. Right? Yeah.
it kills, man.
Mhm.
It's costly, it's time consuming, it's health consuming. Um, let's say we solve the commute.
Mhm.
What, for some reason, I don't know what happened in the future, where let's say we are capable, like in Star Trek, someone can beam you up
Mhm.
to the
Yeah.
office, um, copy your molecules from one
Mhm.
place to another. What do you think then? Like, will many people will still prefer to work from home? Like, what do you think will happen then?
Um, I think if you can beam me from one place to another, like in Star Trek, probably gonna have other problems to deal with. Yeah, but it's I think the commute is one of the biggest ones. We still didn't kind of solve, like when we all sit together, in open space, and there's kind of that not always ability to concentrate, right? So again, it's like I think the problem is that we have them in the office, like when you walk from the office in that open space,
Mhm.
is they're still there, right? Regardless
Right,
how you get there, right? Not
right,
everyone commuting, not everyone takes them 1 hour to commute, right? Some people live close to the office. It takes them, when I live in Tel Aviv, it took me 15 minutes to come into the office.
wow,
What's commute, just kind of going outside, buying a coffee, having a smoke on my way in, no
wow,
problem.
wow,
So yeah, it was lovely.
amazing. I never had something like that ever.
So I got to wake up, go to the gym, exercise, and yeah, and just go in. It's no problem there. So I didn't feel right. It's kind of I'm wasting my time on the commute, and yeah. Um, I think again, two different things. It's I think it's again, it's you need to build your culture around that. And when I
Mhm.
say culture, the activities that you put in front of your team, right? It's kind of when you build that culture.
You, you
It's
said you said at
mhm.
the beginning that you went to WeWork, right?
Yeah,
Um, and that you said the table, right? So there's an open space and a table.
yeah. I just had a desk, yeah, my own desk, yeah.
So it's not walled. It's
No, it's
so
just
so
like an open space, yeah. Hmm.
so I have two questions about that. So
Hmm.
relating to our conversation, um, which is, how does this make sense? Like, if we're
Yeah.
talking about the disturbances from the open space, and the second thing is, how is it possible to create a startup in an environment where everybody can look over your shoulder and see what you're doing, where you need that secrecy?
Oh, yeah. I think every startup, needs secrecy. Also, you can have a look at the code. If people that feel like they need that secrecy, right? Like it's kind of, it's, something very stealth, they're not going to sit in an open space. Like it's kind of, if you're building something very, kind of a secret
WeWork is
drone
not meant for that.
application, exactly right. It's kind of, and you walk in an open space, hey, maybe you're not the right person to build that startup. It's, it's kind of on a shared Wi-Fi.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that someone kind of looking over your shoulder again because it's a creative job, right? Each of us have their own process, right? Some people code, they just kind of code very dirty, right? It's kind of just make it kind of A to B, make it all works, and then starting adding types and blah blah blah, kind of cleaning up, leaving it. for a few hours coming back, I'm just gonna rewrite that. Right. Sometimes that's how I work. Right. I just want to get the actual everything working. I don't care how dirty it looks at the beginning. Um, some people gonna start. I'm gonna write this first. Right. It's kind of so. So if you have two people working in a very different way, right? Do I care how they get there? Right. It's kind of, do I care how do they get to that, good result that it kind of that code, goes to code review, everyone's happy and it's approved or not, they're making comments, right? It's I don't care what the process they take for them to get there.
Right. Right.
Right. As long as we kind of, they do it within an agreed time frame, right? And if they kind of see, okay, I'm not getting there, right? Like we kind of thought I'm gonna get there in a week, and it's the fifth day, and I'm not getting there, like fourth day, right? Probably should say raise your hand sooner, but it's kind of okay, It's I need to have a chat with someone to explain that to them. Again, it's not about someone you're looking over your shoulder and just doing it with time, right? That's that.
Right.
This is not that type of work.
Right.
Um,
You know,
yeah, like
you
have you ever got, kind of? It's like you and I will get, each of us will get 3 hours to do a task, right?
Mhm.
You might in 3 hours get, that's how you work the best, kind of with pressure frame,
Right. Right.
right? And you will get an amazing result. But after those 3 hours, I'm done for today, right? All my energy, my focus went for those 3 hours,
Exactly.
and that's it. I might do it in 5 hours, right? Kind of normally, but then I can continue working on a few hours to code, right? So who is the winner, right? From like,
Well,
I just gave an example, right? So,
I think the past week has been a great example for that, and also
mm,
comes down to what you said about rewriting. So I've been given a task. So usually when I have these tasks, you have to do a lot of context switching.
yeah.
Um, you have to deal with a lot of things, and I'm exhausted. After a few hours, I'm exhausted. This specific task that I had this past week. Um, let's talk about the rewriting part. So
Mm-hmm.
I started investigating if there's a library that could solve my problem.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't any. I needed to parse. There was un unstandardized. There's a library. There's a folder full of unstandardized text files, and I needed to parse them in order to create a vector database.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I looked for a library that will help me parse it. I first looked in Python, then I looked in Java. Couldn't find any library that would help me parse it. So, okay, what do I do? So I started prototyping, right? The solution. It took me about a day, maybe a day and a half to prototype, and then I said, "Oh my God, the code is a mess. I'm going to rewrite it." And like you said, you played around. Now it's a mess. You need to rewrite. And I rewrote it. And then when I rewrite it, I looked at the logic. I said, "Oh my God, this is the wrong approach. I can do this and that." And so I threw that away. I rewrote it again in one file. There was about 6, 7 files. I rewrote it again in one file, much easier process, much smaller. And then I looked at the result and it's still unsatisfying. So I went in to do a lot of work. I never thought, when you do an ML, a machine learning solution, like getting the data, I always, I thought this project would, I would have the data, put it in the vector database, parse it, and it would be easy peasy. I never thought I would get such a hard time working just getting the data. It's
Mm.
amazing how hard it is. And I coded, like I said, I usually code a few hours, not really code, like deal with
It's
all these.
POC, yeah. Just you kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, proving the concept. Yeah.
And this project, like I literally coded up until 3 a.m., got up at 6:30 a.m. to resume coding. And code all day, all night, like a madman, and I couldn't sleep. Like at 3 a.m., I'm saying, dude, you have to wake up at 6. Go to sleep. Just
Hmm.
and I wasn't even tired. I had hard time sleeping because the mind
Yeah,
was
just keep
so
walking. Yeah.
keep working on that task. So on one side, like after 3 4 hours of this, you know, mundane work with context switching and everything, I'm exhausted. On the other side, like a week of full days non-sleep coding, and I'm awake like a madman. um
Yeah.
I don't know
Uh,
how to explain it, but
no,
also
no.
the
I think every engineer, will understand. Like it's kind of, yeah. Can't imagine no one, kind of had to go through something like this. Um, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to explain it.
but I love the fact that I had a chance, which a lot of developers don't get the opportunity to do that. To look at my solution and to say, oh my God, this POC is a mess. I need to stop and do a rewrite, restructure the code just you know,
Yeah,
because it's not maintainable. And that was a huge win. Like you said, when you start, then you need to go back and add the typing and add
yeah.
the types, sorry, and all of that. By the way, when you said types, you work. I'm assuming you're talking about
TypeScript.
TypeScript. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Obviously, like we're working with Java and like such. That's how you code. Yeah. Um, that's what I'm talking about. It's a process. It's especially when you're building something new, right? If you're kind of working within existing code and just making a small change or even a large change, right? You're kind of within that framework already. You're just kind of following the pattern how everybody else are working, right? It's kind of that's where you put your test in. That's how it runs. It's kind of that's how classes looks like. That's the abstraction of it. You're probably using a lot of the already existing functionality. Um, but that's obviously very different from when you're building something new from scratch, and that time frame is important, right? It's so important.
Right.
It's how much time you have, um, and then again, startup, or you want to prove something, and what's going to be the impact, right? If you're going to release that, and the impact is millions of users, you better, kind of. I think like the time frame should be set based on the impact, if possible. Right? It's kind of how much time I need. Okay, let's talk about the usage, right? It's kind of just to prove you that this can be done. Probably don't need much time. I can, a few days I can build that, right? It's a very big difference when you build something for 100 users a day between a millions users. So
Let me ask you this: do you think startup have a second chance for a first impression? Would
um,
you like?
mm,
Usually, the goal was to ship fast. Ship a broken product, but ship it fast.
yeah,
Be first to market. But today, like people are saying, if you created that bad first impression, people tried it, they're not gonna come back.
I think if you're solving a legitimate problem, they won't give a shit. They'll come back.
Really,
I think so. Yeah. If the problem you're solving is real, if the pain, if you the solution, if your solution actually is solving something real, even if the solution is
outweighs.
not
I
perfect.
see.
Yeah,
I see.
I think that, yeah, like to me, it's like there's like also difference between B2B and B2C businesses, right? Kind of B2B, there's a bit more to what you just said, right? Kind of involved with the account manager, you disappoint him, he look like an idiot right now with his leadership in the company. It's going to be difficult to convince, right, for that person to go and hey, work with me again. With B2C is, you guess, on a very cold, you can always get more, say, you
Right,
always
right,
get more people.
right.
So yeah, yeah, I think a lot of startup get way more than second chance.
second chance, really.
Yeah, of course. Like it's
Even if they completely like broken their first chance with the clients.
again, if the
If it's
problem,
you're saying if the problem exists, they would give it a second
they will
chance.
come back. I think so. Yeah. You send an email to apologize. We had a problem. Now it's working. You know, you give them you know. And when I say apologize, apologize with something tangible. It's kind of there's another $5 of usage or something. You get 1 month for free. So yeah, obviously you can take actions.
I
Kind
like
of
this.
to limit the
I like
damage.
this.
But yeah, I think and it's been proven many times, right? It's kind of
Right.
yeah.
I just read somewhere that there's less today. There's less um space for that, but I think you're right.
For mistakes.
I think they were wrong by assuming that today, if there's a good market and you're solving real problems, people will come back. I agree with you. This is a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah. It's like kind of I don't know where I read that. So forgive me if I'm quoting someone and I'm also tell it very wrongly. Like if you have you can have a very good product, but if you don't have a market for it, who gives a shit, right?
Right.
It's kind of if you have a market, but the product is, uh, but it still solve the problem. You kind make money,
Right.
right? It doesn't matter if you have lots of technical debt. It doesn't matter if your leadership is shit. You're gonna make money, right? You're gonna probably make less money if your processes are bad, right? So you're just not gonna be efficient, but you're still gonna make money.
So let
If
me ask you
yeah,
this.
mhm.
Is it possible to create a market that doesn't exist? I remember there were examples of something like that I read before. Like the market doesn't exist. The problem really doesn't exist, but you create a situation where you created a new market and a new problem that didn't exist before, and now you after you
Like this.
created
That's
something
big.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I'm sure it's possible. Probably the most difficult thing to do, right? Because like it's doesn't happen so many, that many times. Like I think a lot of kind of actually, I don't know, mate. Like I never actually was try to look for that myself.
Why not? That's the best. That would be probably the best part. Like you're in any market that you're trying to solve an existing problem, there may be either several other people, or but if you're creating the market, if you're creating the problem and the market, that's an amazing situation.
I'm not saying it's not amazing. I think it's amazing. I think it's a very long process. I think it's when you need to educate the market, that there's a problem that you're not aware of, and that's how I solve it.
Mhm.
First of all, not necessarily your solution is right, so you're going to have to iterate on your solution probably many times. Educating your customer is a big piece by itself, I
Right.
think. I actually like competition because if you have competition, others already,
Nice.
there's a problem. If you want to
Well
compete,
defined.
yeah, go do it 10x better, right? It's kind of so you can compete. Find something within that. I actually like those non-sexy businesses, right?
Mhm.
I like those, kind of car wash, laundry kind of place, just make it more efficient with technology and things like that. I like those small businesses.
Mhm.
It's yeah, it's kind of less friction between less politics, just kind of more pure income, revenue, expenses. It's There are problems that are quick to fix usually. You can it's easier for you to understand, be proactive about future problems. So yeah, that's how I think today, right? Ask me the same question to 20 years ago. Yeah, let's go. Let's fucking reinvent everything, right? So it's kind of today, if someone comes, hey Vico, I have an idea for startup. Let's try this. I first kind of do you have is someone already working on it? No,
Is
that's
it
what's
going well?
amazing.
Is it a well-defined problem?
Isn't that amazing? Right? It's kind of, yeah, it's just, yeah, think as fast as possible, put in your customer hands that are not your friends and family, and get any of them to put a credit card in your
I, re-
solution.
I remember many years ago, that was 2 decades maybe. I came to a person with a great, what I thought was a great idea for a startup. And I told him, listen, we're going to do this and that. And I started, raising all these issues. And eventually he said, I think I told him, like, there's no one else doing this. And he said, well, that may be the reason to
Not to
not to
do
do it.
this. Yeah.
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 Because if no one is doing it, that is a good indication that this is a problematic issue.
I don't know. I think always like really good ideas coming from you solving something for yourself. Right? It's kind of a real problem for yourself. And then you kind of, oh, it's not only me, right? Like other people. Then you just
Right.
kind of build on that. Like that's one of ways, right? That's like when always like sometimes like junior engineers come to me, like just kind of, hey, what should I build and should I show something? Show people, hey, this is the project I built. It's kind of, should I just go and do like another to-do list? If that to-do list solving a real problem for you, sure. Right. Eventually, like we built solutions to problems. Like it's kind of, I'm sure there is something in your life that you think as an engineer you can build something that can help you on a day to day. And for most of us, I think our problems are not that unique.
Right.
So then it kind of depends on the scale, right? Depends on others. So yeah, I don't know, mate. Like maybe because I'm getting old, I fucking like simple, In
Yeah.
everything I do, I look for how can I make it more simple? How can I describe it in one sentence, right? How can I explain it in the easiest way possible, right? So I speak two languages. So to me, it's always if I can describe the solution, right, that I'm providing, if I can describe the problem and then the solution in a very simple manner in those two languages, maybe I have something. Because language is also culture, right? It's a kind of, so if my problem is actually cross culture, right? So it's gonna solve something from a lot of people, then it kind of scale, right? Like parents are parents, probably very similar here in US, in Israel, in Russia, and whatever, yeah, Asia. So none of us really fucking enjoy waking up at 3 a.m. And changing nappies, but you do it again. I'm not saying there's a software solution for that, right? But you know what I mean. Yeah, it's
You
hey, mm,
No, no, go ahead. You reminded me something that I read this week.
yeah,
Was it this week or last week regarding the simplest solution?
mm-hmm.
What are the odds I'm gonna find it now? Bummer. It was such a good.
No, send it to me.
Will
Yeah.
uh, do I have it? What are the odds I'm gonna find it? This was a very good concept of um, in science. From the solution is, I forgot the name. My memory is such a bad. But the the solution is always Occam's. Oh, okay. Occam's razor. Principle of Occam's razor. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Given two explanation for something, the explanation most likely to be correct is the simplest one,
Mm-hmm.
the one that makes fewer assumption.
Yep, makes sense. Simple. Yeah,
Always go for the simplest.
yeah, yeah. It's like when you try to like track some progress, right? It's kind of look at the reports. If it's so difficult to get the reports to understand that, it's also like you tracking the right things, right? It should be simple.
Keep it
Simple
simple.
goals. It's simple, to get them. Like, yeah, you know, I wanna, I wanna exercise more every day. It's kind of, okay, let's start tracking your steps. Let's tracking this. Let's tracking it. Or you can just go and exercise every day for an hour. And that's it. Yeah.
I remember there was this one dude on the internet. It's John Sonmez, I think it was John Sonmez. So I was having a hard time with diets, trying to find the right diet. Like, should I eat this? Should I eat 6 meals a day? Should I, what should I do? And the my way of life, like when I try to accommodate all of these solutions to my way of life, to how I run my life, it all failed. So one day he went online and he says, stop making it complex. If you want to lose weight, just don't eat.
Yeah.
That's it. Just
Well,
don't eat.
it's a calorie deficit. Like it's not easy, mate. Like being in a calorie deficit is not easy.
No,
Right?
but it's simple. Like it's a
Yeah, just eat
simple,
less. Just eat less. Yeah.
simple concept. Like, I don't care how fat you are. If you're not gonna eat, you're gonna lose weight.
Yeah.
If you just stop eating, and I'm not recommending this to anyone. I'm not gonna, and there's gonna be health implications. But essentially, if you're gonna stop eating, you're gonna lose weight. Period.
Yeah.
And all of these solutions, like the surgery that they put balloon in your stomach, the new Ozempic, all the only thing that they do is remove the hunger, that they're suppressant of hunger, and you don't need to eat. But so by the end of the day, all of these solutions, the surgery, the injections, the Ozempic, all that they make you do is not eat, but without feeling hungry. You can apply the same logic, right? Without spending thousands of dollars on Ozempic, just don't eat. Feel hungry, but don't eat. And by the way, if you will fast for long enough, you will stop feeling hungry. You will have a month or two, a very hard month or two, but then you will stop feeling hungry. So that is it. And I loved it so much. Every time I went in and I saw so many people come down with such complex solution, do this and that, 6 meals a day, and eat this and carry this. And he came in and said, just don't make it such a complex issue. Just don't eat.
Yeah. Again, like you're gonna lose muscles and chest because, like, your body. But but having said that, I also kind of tried multiple things and this and that, and just less carbs. And this. I eat based on kind of. I feel like, okay, if you want to eat, you need to do something to deserve it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so to me, it's kind of, I'm not gonna eat breakfast unless I'm gonna go for a walk for like half an hour.
Wow.
Fuck this. It's because it's like, let's try to imagine ourselves not that far away, 100 years ago, or whatever, 200 years ago, right? Probably like some people that live like this in other places in the world. It's not that you're waking up and you open the fridge and you're standing there, kind of scratching your balls and what I'm going to eat this morning. It's kind of,
you need to milk the cow.
You need to do shit. You need to burn calories, right, for that to happen. So it's kind of, you need to eat. You need to eat breakfast for you to have the energy. Okay. Well, if I'm gonna go and spend the energy and then I eat, I'm still gonna be fine, right? But then it kind of feels to me like it's a bit more. So I usually eat based on what I did that day. So if I went to the gym, I'm probably gonna eat a bit more, right? Like just kind of protein stuff. But if I walk really, really hard, just kind of really focused, you're gonna be hungry, right? Your brain, so much energy. But I will still go and do something physically before I eat. Because otherwise, every time you do something, very focused, you're gonna run and just quickly just eat,
So what do you do? Let's say you're working from home. Your
My
brain
schedule
works. Your brain now works over hours. you feel the
Yeah.
need for carbs, you feel the need for sugar to feed your brain. um you feel that. Are you gonna suppress that hunger? Are you gonna work out and then eat something? What would you do then? How would you handle this?
I usually just kind of continue with that. Like it's kind of I'm gonna do something and then I eat. Like even if I'm kind of I really focus meetings all day, just coding, and it's kind of and I'm hungry. I will, and if I don't have time to the gym, I will do some L squats or something at home. I will do
Mhm.
something. I will do something physically, and then I will eat.
So it's not like I'm consuming carbs and sugar now to feed my brain. I'm gonna do the same level of exercise. I'm just gonna do any kind of activity before I eat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
and
see.
that can be just a walk around the house, and like, it doesn't matter. Just do something. And I don't eat much carbs. I just mostly just eat just kind of meat and veggies, eggs.
Mm.
And yeah, so it's.
But
But again, it works for me, right? Doesn't necessarily
right.
work for everyone. Yeah.
But carbs, all the sugars, they're food for the brain, right? When you focus, when you exercise your brain, the brain needs that, right?
I don't know, mate. I actually feeling pretty good after steak. Like, just kind of usually my breakfast will involve like pre-boiled eggs, avo, maybe bacon.
Mhm,
I'm pretty good after that.
mhm.
Don't need sugar. Don't need that. Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
will have some ice cream here and there, like, because I love ice cream, but it's kind of also like, I feel like I need to punish myself. But also like it's kind of I don't think giving your body something that it's not needed, is a prize. Like it's kind of, having something sweet is it's here, right? It's not probably like so. Yeah, I don't know. It's I feel like from exercise, I always felt really good. So that kind of helped me, also just I I exercise a lot at my lunch break because kids small, so just your mornings is I just need to take them to school and such, so I don't have much time. I always used to exercise in the morning. That was kind of thing. Just wake up early and just go exercise. And once the kids are a bit more dependent, I'm gonna go back and doing that again. It was always like exercise, just and then learn something and then walk because I wanted my best focus will actually go towards running, and that can be like half an hour. It's I used to just kind of sit, do exercise, come back home and do like half an hour of math. Like I know it sounds like such a geeky thing to do, but I enjoy that. But it
Mhm.
just kind of helped me going, for the rest of the day. I was so focused because both my body and my brain already kind of I got them going. Um, it works for me. Yeah,
Right, right, right. Everyone needs, like we said, no one size fits all.
yeah, exactly. And just it's kind of just figure out what works for you, right? And but I think we can generalize it and say that sugar and carbs probably not the best thing for you, right? It's
This
kinda,
is so. This is
I don't
very
know. Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
So there's this book called Outlive by Peter
Hmm.
Attia.
Hmm.
It's a
Read
best-selling
it.
book.
Really good. Yeah, awesome book.
Really?
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
think I think he spoke there, if I'm not mistaken, about the fact that sugar and carbs are actually food for the brain and are needed. If I'm not mistaken, I either heard it there or somewhere else. Like saying that these are bad, sugar,
Yeah.
carbs,
Hmm.
these are bad, you should kick them away, is not a very good solution, because
Hmm.
our brain feeds on that. Like
Yeah.
it may damage the
Maybe
body, but
maybe it's a portion. Maybe it's like just how
right, right,
much.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
We
So
have too
again, like
much.
I can get sugar from apple, right? And
Exactly.
so I,
Yeah.
I eat apples, right? But
Right,
so
right,
when I
right.
say sugar probably not good for you, I would say don't eat fucking 5 Twinkies a day.
Yeah, exactly. Right, right.
So
That
that's what I
that
mean by that. Yeah.
yeah, fully
So
agree.
not processed food, right? It's kind of it's if you're gonna eat potato, it's carbs, right? But
Right.
it's vegetable. So Yeah. Every time when I say like I'm just talking about processed food. So again, like to me, it's I try to stay to eat food to its original,
Form.
kind of form as much as I can, and same with kind of food in general. I can exercise. I try to do it as natural as I can. Can I go exercise in the gym? I use the equipment, but I try to do as much as I can. Just kind of use my own body weight. Yeah. So
I think my son said, I think it's called calisthenic.
yeah, yeah. Like so again, I'm using some of the equipment, but it's try to do as much as I can, just as close as I can to nature. Yeah, I think just people should try things and see what works for you. It's yeah. My dad, like he's 60, 62, and he exercise. He looks like he's 40. Looks like our age. It's crazy.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
just crazy.
Nice.
And he goes to the gym 45 minutes. He goes,
Every
go,
day?
he swims, he goes to the gym. Yeah. So, yeah. My dad works shifts, and he's like, so 1 week he's going to do nights, 1 week he's going to do evenings, 1 week he's going to do morning. So he's like, just doesn't matter what exercise, he's going to go exercise.
Nice. So, we're, you know, where does he get a place to swim? Because here in the
Pool.
US,
Yeah,
it's
pool.
it's very hard to get. Like, I registered um to a club here, and they have two pools,
Hmm.
one external, one internal. They're fully booked all the time. Every time I go in, like, they're fully packed. I once There was one Saturday morning, I said, it's cold outside, it's freezing. What are the odds? Like, it's early morning, Saturday morning, it's freezing outside. The outdoor pool will be empty. There's not going to be a single person, and I'm just going to have the pool to myself to finally swim. I went in, and the pool was packed. It was packed, like, full of people. And they closed another pool that was a community pool here. Like, it's very hard to find a pool to swim in. It's amazing.
You know why I commute hour and a half to work
Why?
once a week? Because the pool near me is not fully booked.
Ah,
it's it's like it is what it is when you live in a place where there's so many people, right? It's gonna happen. Yeah.
right, right.
But it's a good opportunity. Maybe you can open a business, open a pool,
Oh,
or you
well,
can open a software that people kind of check in, and then you can know where to come in. Yeah.
so I went in, and I told them I started having that conversation. Let's create a software that people can. You know what? You don't even have to check in.
Just book it. Yeah.
Either book it, and also we can you already have cameras there. I can set up a software that will identify when a lane is free, and will
Hmm.
immediately place that in the system. And they kind of had this conversation. Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no. I understand that they didn't want it. So I just left it. And they sent about 2 weeks ago. They sent, oh, we have a new app now. You can go
Focus.
in.
Yeah.
No, no, but here's the funny thing. You can go in. You can see the times. You can book and everything, but the pool.
Right. Okay. With pool, like you can actually predict for like it's kind of when the lanes are actually going to be available, right? Because
Right,
on
right.
average, how much people swim, right? It's kind of
I think, again, this specific
um,
pool is like 99% of the time it's fully packed.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't know. I told you move to Australia. Didn't listen. Now suffer. Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Um,
yeah, things are, but I think one
mm,
of the reasons it's like I wouldn't start a business like this here. The rents became crazy in the US. Like,
yeah.
having paying rent now to hold a pool, a place with a pool, would probably be a very expensive thing. But maybe that's actually Now that I think of it, you know what?
Again,
Maybe
I think any business, right? It's like if you kind of if you look at this as a customer, I would do this, I would do this, I would do this because you're coming from pain. Okay.
right,
You also need to understand the other side, right? Like we always kind of say, if you're gonna go to in the industry, right, and you're gonna solve a problem inside the industry with engineering, right? Okay, so do you know the industry as a customer, or you actually
or
work
is
in
it
that
right,
industry?
right, 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 right,
Right? If you and I right now are gonna go and try to solve a problem in health tech, right? Like we probably both of us going to be outsiders. We're not going to be. So I would say, hey, guy, we need to find someone from inside
right,
because we might, automate or make things efficient. That's not a real problem, right? Or we
right.
are going to start from the right place. I think that I'm saying that, but you also have obviously examples where you can come from outside, and that's actually a plus, right? Because you don't have that kind of your ways of how you look at the problem, right? They're not only just kind of almost corrupted by you working that industry, right? So you don't know
Right,
how to look.
right.
It's to be honest, that's one of the
You have a fixed mindset when you're coming
yeah,
from a
exactly.
different.
Yeah, it's kind of like to me, when you're looking for a job or when kind of recruiters used to tell me an engineer profile for engineer. Hey, he has like 5 years in fintech experience. So what? Like it's kind of is that engineer going to decide all the problems we're going to solve? It's more focused on the how. Obviously you need to know why and when, but you have also product managers and business can help with those decisions. But I actually want people that from coming in from different industries, right? Because kind of it's all about people. But then you can, hey, that's how we solved it in edutech. How about we try to solve it, in fintech? Why not?
So let's say I wanna open not the tech solution, right? I want to open a pool here in
Hmm.
here in my area.
Yeah.
How would you recommend me to go about that? Right, because now I'm actually
Yeah.
curious of pursuing that. What would you recommend I would do? Because I'm
talk
external
to
to the
people
system.
talk to people that had it, find people that opened the pool business and closed it, and talk to them, ask why they closed it. I would start from that. Obviously that will be very negative, but look for patterns of things that kind of just describe me how your day was, and as an owner, like you obviously need to deal with customers. There's like cost insurance and like one of those places, right? It's kind of probably how are you going to build that whole place by yourself from scratch, or are you buying already existing one? Right? Very, very different story. If you buy an existing one, you're going to look at their books. You need to trust their books are correct, right?
Right.
It's kind of you need to go. I would just go and sit there like for weeks and weeks and just try to measure how many people come in and come out. And like in the gym, it's kind of I don't know how it's in US, but here it's always you go to the gym and then after Christmas, right, kind of the January, February, it's
Everybody's
where
there.
it's when you see like so many new people, and then like March, April, it's the same group,
New
right?
Year's resolution.
Exactly. But then the gym, they make so much money from it, right? Because people sign up. And here, I think in Australia, they still have that bullshit that you need to commit for 12 months or something, right?
Mhm.
If you leave, you kind of, you just either continue to pay or you pay them like a fine to stop paying, to break the commitment. And imagine, like, they're getting paid without kind of the more people use the equipment, the more chances you kind of need to replace the equipment. But put the other side also, there's a limit how many people you can have in that space, right? It's kind of, they
Right.
probably have like a limit that being forced on them by the council or just in general. It's like a 500 square meters place. How many people can go in and exercise at the same time? They never worry about it because they know there's going to be influx of people like in January, February, but then it's just going to go. So yeah, it's kind of amazing to see. And I go to the same gym like near our place for the last I don't know 4 years. Every year, January, February, different people, and then they just mostly just disappear, and just same group of people, you know, especially people that go for lunch, their lunch break, it's the same group, right, all the time. It's amazing. Yeah.
Do we have something similar in tech? I don't think that there's such an existence in tech, where there's a spike during the year of activity and action, and then there is a downturn. Do we have something similar in
Maybe
tech?
fitness apps, fitness activity. uh,
Probably.
yeah. um I don't know. I think there's like that whole world of subscription, right, is very interesting. It's like you subscribe to a service, put aside Netflix and such, right? You kind of create content. If I subscribe to a service, I expect them to improve all the time on one side, right? Or they just provide me the same service all the time, so you just pay for that. Um, so so then that needs to be, it's like a gym. You use it every time, then it makes sense, right? Like, and I pay for my gym now, $18 a week, uh, uh, $20, and if I would go once a week, it's kind of stupid, right? I can just do it at home. Like, I can buy something at home; it will justify itself very quickly. If I go every day, it makes sense, right? It's kind of, I also kind of enjoy actually getting outside of the house, right? Like, I have a big garage. I could build my own gym here. I actually want to go outside. So it's kind of, it's also just giving you that break. Um, so subscriptions, like in let's think about the product together. When you kind of just pay them, there's like, and then you just use it like only once a month or only once a year. Try to think about something. I don't like subscriptions, but so I usually don't have that problem. To be honest, I usually don't keep it. But I know that there's like, subscription creep. Like, people just have too many and they just forget that it actually
Yeah,
exists.
yeah, yeah.
And a
It's a
lot of
huge problem.
companies, and when people kind of start, you actually had products that, hey, we're gonna find all the subscriptions you are in, and we're gonna help you to disconnect. You had those kind of small startups. So
Yes, yes.
a lot of those subscription products, hey, just pay us for a year, and we're just gonna give you a discount, right? And that
And you
discount's
kind
so
of forget.
meaningful, but
Yeah.
you just forget it exists, right? It's kind of, yeah. It's you remember, like, that's also a constant one. When you're building a startup, just focus on one solution, right? Don't just do everything. And then you have those companies that gonna go and say, oh, we're gonna build you a one-stop solution, right? So it's like, now I see HR is an interesting one. On one side, you see a company that all their product is to help you with meeting notes, kind of one-on-ones and templates for that and things like that, which is great, and then you can kind of prepare for that meeting, share it with people on Slack integrations. Great product. Um, but then you kind of find yourselves, okay, I have this, and then I have another software for kind of surveys and activities, kind of for quarterly surveys, daily surveys, or whatever it is. And then you have another software for managing the employees' salaries. They have another software, right? But then you have companies that will come and say, we're going to have one solution for one-stop solution. Everything is going to be here. And what usually happens, those one-stop solution companies, their solutions are shit.
Really?
Yeah, like, I don't know what your experience, but so far, because it's too much, right? It feels
Mhm.
like it's too much. Like, it's so many solutions, right? Kind of in one place. So they kind of figure out, okay, let's build this really well, right? Because that's what's going to sell, because that's what most customers want, and all the others, it's just going to be okay, right? And it's good enough.
What if they built
Mm.
everything top notch?
I think they will make a lot of money,
Mhm. But
but
you're saying if that will happen, that they will make a lot of money. But usually the case is that they try
they
to
also become very
generalize.
expensive. They also
Yeah,
become very expensive, right? Because we both know building something good takes time.
costs money. Yeah, takes time
It
and
costs
money.
money, right? So to me, it's kind of like,
By the way,
and I was, yeah,
this is a good conversation maybe for next time regarding
we can chat about it. Yeah, it's
the AI.
interesting, dig in, interesting topic. Yeah, we can dig into that. Funny, like I want us to talk about like how we as engineering managers keep ourselves, engineering leaders keep ourselves also close to tech, and we want to talk about other things, which is why I like those conversations because who knows where it's going to take us. Yeah, and there's always things to talk about, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah,
I like honestly the AI is man, the world is changing.
yeah,
Um
in front
we're
of our eyes. Yeah,
we're talking about things that exist currently and used to exist, and I'm not sure they will exist tomorrow. When I'm talking about tomorrow, I'm talking about, short midterm,
yeah,
like
yeah,
in a few years, these things will either change or will cease to exist entirely, which is pretty scary.
yeah. Which actually, again, I'm reading more and more. Funny enough, like I don't have an opinion yet because it's there's so much noise on the internet, and and everyone pulling to
Yeah,
their own direction, right? It's kind
yeah,
of and it's obviously like it's not just tech companies. It's kind of trying to pull the value of their shares up. Right? There's like countries and ideologies behind this, kind of fighting
right,
who is going to be number
right,
one.
right. We all saw that this week with
Yeah,
DeepSeek
exactly.
and the crash
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Nvidia.
Right. It's like
This could
it's not about tech anymore.
right.
It's not about tech.
This
Right?
is actual war.
It's like beyond tech, right?
Right.
So it was like only what a year ago it was we don't need graphic designers anymore, we don't need engineers anymore, and all medium engineers will be replaced, and people kind of that's great. No, it's not great. How do you think senior engineers become seniors? They start like juniors and become medium and then become senior. Like it's a way of thinking, right? It's kind of that's and you can just do it over time. It's again, I don't know how it's going to be, how it's going to impact our industry. Like it's obviously will have a huge impact. Um, things changing very quick. It's and it's like sometimes I kind of feel like I don't read quick enough, right? It's just kind of and what I'm trying to read actually about it's not even about the tech itself, right? I actually trying to kind of last week I actually try to go and find things to read and understand that actually talk about this from the human psychological approach, like
What does
economical.
that mean?
So
Oh,
how is that kind of AI is gonna it's gonna replace this profession, right? How it's gonna impact, right? It's gonna replace teachers, right? It's kind of we don't need teachers anymore. Kids can just sit in front of a computer and learn.
right.
Okay, did we already forgot only like 2 years ago all the kids were sitting at home and learning through Zoom? Was that great experience for the kids?
Well, think
On
about
the
it this
one side, on the other side, right?
way. Mhm.
Kind of other side, the entry level for educators in the last 20 years to become educators wasn't great either,
Right.
right? So the kind of, I don't, when I was growing up, and I think it was similar for you, when a teacher was to come into a class, everyone
We
fucking quiet and the respect for the teachers were,
we had to
oh my
stand up.
God, we had to
We had to
stand up.
stand
And,
up, and
and, you know,
you would not sit until she tells you. And
like
they
go to
tell you.
Finland, the best of the best goes to teaching
Right.
for fucking good reason, right?
Right. Right.
So it's kind of, and then, okay, so we can get AI this as a solution. Hold on a second, right? It's kind of, okay, maybe it will solve the knowledge problem, right? It's kind of a teacher cannot everything, but that interaction, how you can actually, that kids learning as a group, is that not important anymore? We
So
just saw now how important that is, right? How much they're missing out from that. So
So there is this Star Wars series for kids. I forgot its name. Lady Star Wars series for kids, and I saw it
Like
just
the crew something.
yes, 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 yes. Skeleton Crew, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, Skeleton Crew. Yeah, yeah.
And the first episode, they go into a class, all
Mhm.
the kids, but the teachers are robots. So they go into class, and the one that teaches them is a robot, and it knows to. It has the vision. It has the everything that we. It's almost a solved problem today. Um, and again, this we'll have to have a talk about this next time. But the end result, I don't know where it's gonna come, is that the robots will be the one who produces robots. They will be the one who maintains robots. They will be the one who programs. So the AI will program, the robots will build and maintain, will be in the mines, getting the materials, commuting the material, transferring the materials, making the robots, fixing them. When that day will come, right? The robots will work in the mines, the robots will work in the factories, the robots will work in the fields to make foods. Um, the robots will be your doctor, right? You came in, oh, I don't feel very well, there's no need to see a doctor. The robot will see you now. When that day will come, the need for human in the loop will be completely gone.
Oh, we're
And
gonna start doing other things.
that will be a very interesting situation.
Yeah, so that will be interesting. So it's kind of, are we gonna remember Wally? Wally?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, when they
yeah,
see like
yeah.
fat people
So the
going around.
question is, are we gonna become that, right? Or as you said, are people gonna get so scared because of they're gonna lose their ways of kind of okay, you're gonna have to have some kind of universal income or whatever it is. It's it's kind of we discussed before, like, that kind of nine to five, all the whole, at the same time going to the office. It's also like a ways of control, right? Everything.
Right, right, right,
It's everyone buys food at the same time, so they can set up the tracking services to bring food to the supermarket at the same time. I'm talking about the city, right? It's going outside of the city. It's very different. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, multiple scenarios here. I don't think the idea that someone's going to control this anyway. Like, and
let's keep it for
but
next week. I'm also very interested to hear what you read about this. You said you read
yeah,
about the economic and psychological perspective of this.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm happy to. Again, like, and it's all kind of people talk about it. Yeah, and you kind of said, "Oh, teachers will become robots." Sometimes I feel some of them are already robots, and it fucking pisses me off. And, repeating the same woke bullshit. Yeah, I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
Evie not to cut this out. Yeah, but that's my opinion. Yeah, you don't have to agree. But yeah, it's to me, like, teachers was always about kind of- my history teacher. He was he taught us history and also taught us kind of civic and like democracy and everything. And it was always conversation, right? Those are the facts. And you always said those are the provided facts, right? Kind of not only understanding that it's winners always write the history, right? And it's kind of let's have a conversation, right? Let's discuss. It always kind of said that in order to understand history, right, it's kind of you need to have a conversation and try to put yourself in people's shoes that live through that experience, right?
Right.
And like I love I love those lessons. It's kind of always. I remember I used to finish the history, the book, kind of before we start the classes because I wanted to be ready for those conversations. It kind of forced me to go and read about it. And
Right.
even today, right, it's kind of like maybe I always that issue so much because even today, those I see the debates on the internet and just kind of I would agree with something, I would disagree with something, like right, left. I don't give a fuck. I would agree something with the right, I would agree something with the left. But I will go and listen to people I disagree with right? As well, I want to understand their perspective on things,
That
right?
is a very rare stance these
I'm not
days
saying
in
it doesn't
everyone.
hurt my head. Don't kind of, some people like it's kind of, some people I can listen to them only like 15-minute intervals. So like, oh, it's fucking ridiculous. I can listen to this, but I always try, right? Even people like back to the office, right? Oh, we need to go to the office to do this. I I want to listen. I want to understand where they're coming from, and unfortunately, most of the time, all I hear is like just they repeat this like, as a robot. They just repeat the same shit,
Mm,
right?
mm.
It's good for our team. Why? How? Did you speak to your team about it? Did you have a conversation? Right? What's the percentage of your team that actually want to go back to the office? You know, how are you going to measure that is actually better? How are you going to deal with the fact that if 20% of your team don't like that, they're gonna move? What percentage of your industry right now will be open, just gonna wait for you to force them to go back to the office? They're going to steal your best employees. What
Right.
percentage of your people that moved to live, more than 2 hours commute from your main office because you fucking promised them 2 years ago that we're never gonna go back to the office,
Mm.
and they, move their whole life. It's gonna. How many of those employees are gonna leave? What's gonna be impact on your team? So, it's gonna. And every time I ask those questions, the answers I get. Oh, I just wanna. You just wanna sit at home and walk. You just wanna do your woodworking. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. It's So yeah, I try to listen, as much as I can to,
Again,
and
it's
there's
like I
yeah,
told you, it's a rare stance. This is one of the reason why the people who raise that argument, they don't listen to they don't do what you do usually.
yeah.
Try
Well,
to.
I listen to them at the gym. It gives me like it pisses me off, so I just go harder at the gym. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
All right, mate. I'm gonna go
Ready.
do a
Yeah.
walk and then lunch. Yeah.
Rico, thank you very, very much.
Cheers,
See you
mate.
next time.
Awesome chat. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.